Hello. Hello. Good afternoon, all of you. Am I audible? Good afternoon, all of you. Good afternoon. I want your response, my guys. Good afternoon. Very good. Thank you. Thank you. My job is to keep you awake, but it is made simple by the technology which we are going to discuss. The topic AI and technology for chartered accountants, automate or perish. Yes, as rightly said by the MOC, unless we learn technology, we are going to perish. It is always said, सब जगह बोलते हैं कि अब न्यूज़पेपर में भी छप रहा है, अब चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट्स की ज़रूरत नहीं है, कोई पॉलिटिशियन बोलता है वी डोंट नीड सीएज, अपना बाजू वाला 10वीं का 12वीं का बच्चा अब रिटर्न्स फाइल करेगा, राइट? बट इट इज़ नॉट लाइक दैट. Definitely, the job is going to be done by technology, and it will be done by those CAs who master this kind of technology. And for that, we have a great panel with us, and we have Vice Chairman of AI in ICAI Committee, CA Umesh Sharma with us. Fortunately, I am also the Vice Chairman of AI in WIRC Committee. And we have a similar committee in Vikasa as AI in Vikasa, wherein various children, CA students, are working very hard and creating new things for the purpose of disseminating the knowledge, the information about Vikasa activities amongst the students. And mind you, my dear friends, the effect is humongous. We are able to connect to 250,000 CA students across the region with the help of this technology only, and we are getting good response from the people as well. So my dear friends, I introduce before you the panel today. We have CA Umesh Sharma, as I told, the Vice Chairman of Committee of AI in ICAI. Then we have our past president, beloved past president from Mumbai, CA Nilesh Vikamsey, sir. Can I have the introduction slide, please? Thank you. As we all know, CA Nilesh Vikamsey sir needs no introduction because he has been a president of our esteemed institute, ICAI, and we have got a very nice and great time with him. Then we have CA Anil Bhandari, past chairman of WIRC and Central Council member, past Central Council member as well. Introduction of CA Anil Bhandari, please. And then we have the great MP Vijay Kumar sir. And rightly said by the MOC as well, I am also one of the student of MP Vijay Kumar sir, and I have been there in Chennai to learn from him at that times. We have a great moderator, also CA Bhupendra Mantri, who is going to take us through all the intricacies of AI and going to take out the wisdom of those panelists for us. With this, I request CA Umesh Sharma sir for his welcome remarks. Thank you.
Thank you, Piyush. Honorable Nilesh Vikamsey sir, Anil Bhandari sir, Vijay Kumar sir, then moderator Bhupendra Mantri ji, Chintan Patel, and Piyush Chandak, and my all colleagues, Central Council member and Regional Council members, and dear friends. This is a session of AI, and this particular year, 2024, was a year in ICAI when our President Ranjit Kumar Agrawal sir and Nanda sir, Vice President, decided to have a AI in ICAI committee. And what may be in their mind, they decided chairman as Dayaniva sir, and responsibility of vice chairmanship was given to us. Friends, it was a very difficult time. We failed last time when we wanted to implement some AI project in ICAI. And this time, God was very kind with us. We started with scratch. AI committee from nowhere, today it's everywhere. And this session is one of the testimony of that. Nilesh sir, we started in February. We drafted the agenda, terms of condition of AI in ICI committee, and that time President sir wanted that we should have a certification course also, then we should have AI tools also, and we have done everything that was in our agenda, sir. Sir, we have created ICI tool, that is CAGPT. How many of you are using CAGPT? Can you raise of hand? Very good. You must use that, because that is a tool which is created on the knowledge resources of ICI by using best of technologies of OpenAI. 16 GPTs are there. Go to AI in ICI website and put your membership number and get OTP, and you can ask any question. Near about 50,000 plus members are today using that GPT. CA student GPT is also there, where foundation, inter, final questions, papers, and all subject GPTs are there. 75,000 plus students are using. Near about 4 lakh plus prompting has been done already, and it was launched on 1st July. Just within 2 months, we have seen that journey. Then we have finished our hackathon. Anil sir, hackathon was such a concept that many people were not knowing, and they thought that something hacking is going on in ICI. But when we show them that it's a dance, India dance, and like a competition, our CA members who were having AI knowledge, they presented the use cases. 10 minutes slot was given, 60 hackathonists came, and you must go and see the 10 minutes videos on AI in ICI website, where practical use cases, how to use AI in your office, in your taxation, in your auditing function, accounting function, and all things are there. Then came AI Summit, which was one of the best summits in Hyderabad, and yes, we have launched certificate course also. And it's happy to note you that 4 batches were launched, 200 members, participants were there, and the batch was full within 40 minutes. And we are planning next batch in Center of Excellence Hyderabad on September 1st week, and then from October every week we are going to plan. So AI in ICI is working very hard to impart the knowledge of AI. When you will listen to our all panelists, you will come to know there are 3 phases of AI for a member, means for a CA. First phase, AI in my office. So you must know which type of tools, what technology you have to use in your office. Many of you may be in that phase, AI in my office. Then comes the review generation field, that is AI in client's office. You should be able to give consultancy of AI to your clients also. And you must be knowing that Big Four's maximum percentage of revenue is coming from technology services. So why not for our practicing members? And then come the phase 3, that you can develop your own AI tool and generate a revenue from that. So for all types of phases, we have planned certification courses and programs. Please get connected to AI in ICI committee. We are always there to help you out. With these words, thank you for calling me here, and all the best and happy learning to you all. Thank you.
I'll request CA Bhupendra Mantri ji to take charge and take us forward to the journey of AI.
Yeah. Hello. Yeah. Uh, so just to have face-to-face interaction, in fact, I'm here. And the time which is now available with me is 50 minutes. So I will be trying to finish accordingly whatever questions I have. Friends, lot of developments this year in the leadership of Mr. Umesh Sharma for the committee AI in ICI has happened. And I am regularly, in fact, following whatever developments you are making. And in fact, using those all CAGPT and each and every development you can say. So the entire problem, sir, and this question is basically there to Mr. Nilesh ji. The entire problem is the, you know, uh, around 8-10 years back, I was basically having a quality review of one of the large firms, rather all the large firms. And then I inquired that what audit software you are maintaining. And then they said that this is the software for which we are actually paying huge, crores of rupees of fees to their international counterpart. But अभी मैं देखता हूँ जो PDC committee है, and then there are various arrangements which ICI has have, and I also seen the demo of those softwares, and I find that those softwares are actually equally offering what was in those days I have seen. But the entire problem is that as a mid-size and small-size firms, we are still not acquainted with those softwares. So I would like to ask Nilesh ji that what are the real reasons and challenges that professionals are still lacking their audit documentations through this IT technology?
Thank you, Bhupendra ji, and thanks WRC for inviting me. Before I respond to your question on the software, I think just a little bit, we look in the past. 6 years back, friends, when I was speaking in any forum like this, I used to make a statement saying that large firms spend 90% time on documentation and 10% on audit. Maybe it was an exaggeration just to bring home the emphasis on documentation. Software or manual, leave apart. And I used to say mid-sized firms used to spend, say, almost 50 to 70% time on audit and the balance time on documentation. And small firms, 80% time on audit, maybe 20%. Again, these are just figures to drive home the message. These are not actual numbers, just to how our profession has developed. So, sum and substances, the focus on documentation was less in the mid-size and the small firms, very high in the large firms. I think as mid-size and small firms, what we used to do, raising queries in specific areas, sales, purchase, ledger scrutiny, that used to be a documentation. Then it went into accounting standards, compliance. But the key thing is the compliance of auditing standards, and which very few firms used to document. Now the same large firms were spending 6 years back, say roughly 80-90% time on documentation. Their documents have been reviewed recently for last 4-5 years by an outside agency called NFRA. And gaps have been found. I said, gaps may be small, big, we are not discussing those. So what it entails for mid-sized firms or small firms in the level of documentation, one can understand where large firms are also falling short on expectation of a regulator. The mid-sized and small firms have to go a long way based on my experience. And let me share with you, the way NFR, how many of the audience in this is doing listed company audits? Not many, but
Around 5 to 8%.
10%. So my request to you would be please focus on documentation. Not that we should have to lose focus on the audit quality itself, the real audit, but at the same time, maybe equal or more focus on where compliance of auditing standards, and not only standards in toto, maybe para by para, maybe line by line. Now that you can't do it manually. You have to have technology if you want to do a para by para. And I don't want you to do a mechanical compliance also, yes, no, yes, no. I want our members to actually really do the audit. So this is the macro, focus on document. Now coming to using, why are we not using technology? First is, even from an old mindset of non-document or less documentation to increase documents, there's a challenge. That's a mindset challenge. I have to increase my focus to improve on documentation. First, you have to accept that and implement that, whether it's manual or automation. Second, coming to automation, lack of awareness of the tools which are available. Second, again, resistant to change. Manual to technology, always there's a resistance, a human tendency. Third, lack of training and skill within us and within our teams. The initial learning curve which is there, which takes a time. Fourth, the perception of the cost. Believe me, the cost is not very significant. The cost of taking a tool. So that is not very significant at all. Change of process. I think the fact it is automated, it is a very structured way. In a manual manner, many times you skip a lot of things. If you use automation, it will be a structured, compliance. There will be some need of customization, which also is a challenge. There is regulatory uncertainty, scrutiny also, assuming you're using a tool. I know a friend, I don't want to name the firm, they say we use technology for documentation, but for the purpose of outside, I print everything and keep it in the file. I don't want to tell, for outside purposes, it is my physical file, which is the documentation, not the manual. So what I was coming to is, assuming you're using a tool, there you can't leave the gaps. Each and everything has to be filled in, whether it is applicable, not applicable, whatever it may be. And tool also has an audit trail. Another challenge that the profession has been, our auditing standards gives us almost 2 months' time to do the documentation. But unfortunately, the NFRA's expectation is anything you do after the board meeting date, they're perceiving it's an afterthought. It's a perception. I don't think it's true. So the expectation is your documentation has to get over by the time of when you sign off the financial statement with the board meeting date. If the date of the documentation is later, your audit tool will throw it out. Okay, this has been done on so-and-so date. So that again is a challenge which whilst we are applying. And the most important challenge is the mechanical application. As I told, 90%, I know some firms, I don't want to name them, but sometimes they come to where we do joint audits. आपने देख लिया है ना, तो वो उसका documents कर लेते हैं. They don't have time for doing the audit. So mechanical application of the document, that's another challenge. Coming to the cost, by and large, the range, I can just share for mid-size and small firms, there are tools like, what you mentioned, Institute has tied up with, I think, Any Audit, then there's Assure AI, that I think Institute has done some tie-up. Then one of the oldest has been Caseware, which the large firms have been using. Then there is CCH. We adopted as a firm CCH. Somehow we weren't very successful. Then we are using some other software now. Again, so there are a number of softwares which are available. The choice is yours. What suits you? Importance is what is suiting you. But my earnest request is please get into these software. This will become so the various checklists are available. The checklist will be part of it. The auditing standards talk of risk assessment, this, that, etc. So all that the tool will enable you. So please do that. The range could be, depending on the amount of clients you have, anything between 5 to 15 lakhs, and depending on which tool you are using. So the cost is not very significant for a reasonable size practice. Cost is not an issue. Just other challenges which I mentioned, we need to look at it. Thank you.
So looking to the time, I'm not cross-questioning anything, but the whole issue is that at any firm, we have to work from leadership level to the execution level, and everyone has to be synchronized for the purpose of implementation of all these technology, whether it is related to the audits or any other area. Sir, my second question is to Mr. Anil Bhandari, sir, who is again from, I think he is the person who practice in IT and AI for last more than 15 years or so, maybe even more than that. Sir, in financial sector, which is basically one of the earliest adopters of artificial intelligence, so I'm now coming from technology to AI. So leveraging AI to enhance efficiency, accuracy, and decision making. So can you just elaborate on some case studies of real world applications in the financial sector for AI in finance?
I think a very good afternoon, and thank you WRC for inviting us. This is, I think, one of the best topics. I was the chairman in 2014. I think it sounds like decades back, and I used to always come and say that technology is something that we should all focus on. And a lot of time I used to get smiles because people were more interested in GST at that time, and people were more interested in income tax, of course, which is good. But I think before I go to this topic about how you use AI and what people are doing in the financial sector, I think we need to first distinguish ourselves into two parts when we are listening to any of us here. One is somebody who wants to seriously change the world. Maybe change the world is a little, capital letters, a little bigger solution. Maybe change the way that you want to do things. And some people who would want to continue to do what they're doing, right? It's very important that you get those mindsets right. It's not a question of whether this mindset is right or this mindset is right. Both has got the opportunities and both mindsets are right, because there is opportunity and there is focus that is required in both the mindsets. If you're doing audit, you require tremendous focus today. I happen to be a member of the tribunal, and I think I agree with our president sir here that the quality of the documentation is absolutely close to on a scale of 10, not even at 2 sometimes, right? And well, sometimes it is pretty good, but the afterthought or maybe what we have done after that is also a big challenge. So I think we need to be sure about first where the focus lies. The second thing is that technology is evolving. Technology just 2 years back has become, we've become compulsive users of technology, the newer generation at least. Then we have come to a situation where we have become an obsessive user of technology. Literally, you get up in the morning and the first thing that you want to pick up is your phone.
Yes.
Right? I don't know. I tend to do it subconsciously. Get up in the morning and, what am I looking at? Kuch important email hai kya? Why? Because maybe the US geography wants something. Maybe some other geography wants something. Maybe you're interested in stock market. Maybe you want to see what's happening in the US. Whatever. Compulsive, obsessive, and you know what is likely to happen tomorrow in the next 5 years? It's going to be an immersive use of technology. You're likely to get up in your working environment tomorrow. I'm sorry, but that's where the world is madness going toward. I don't know. Anybody seen Apple Pro here, the Vision Pro? Anybody had a chance to touch the Vision Pro, Apple Vision Pro? If you have not had the chance to touch it, and I don't know whether it is in the Apple store here at Bandrakula Complex or not, I would recommend when you go from here, just try and see if they have something in stock. Apple Vision Pro. You would realize that the world is likely to be completely immersive, based on immersive technology, and it is going to be way different than what we are discussing here. So in an Apple Vision Pro, you're able to sit in ice, maybe probably if you like an Iceland, you're able to sit in Iceland and do work somewhere else. And you would realize that the world is around you is only Iceland. And I'm telling you, the words are not enough. It's a very different technology. So now let me try and bring back artificial intelligence into this. The usage of artificial intelligence is going to be embedded in anything and everything that you do, and you would have to get used to it. How is it going to be embedded? If you have an immersive technology, and you're sitting in your room, and you're sitting in your drawing room, and you suddenly realize that, hey, you know what, my sofa set is pretty old here. I want to buy something new tomorrow. The question comes to your mind, can I call up somebody who's a pretty good interior friend of mine? I don't know which corner to place the sofa set in. You know what the artificial intelligence would do is, it will select based on the color that you have liked, the size that you have liked in the past, throw out some choices for you, and also tell you where to put it in 2 minutes. Why? Because that is only 500 square feet, 1,000 square feet, 5,000 square feet. It will know better than most of the human beings which color, where, what is your taste, and where it will put it. And it will take you only maybe 2 minutes to do this, or maybe even only just 3 minutes to do that, right? So I again don't have words, so please go out. It works on snapshots. You click like this, screens come up. You click like this, screens go down. You're in a different world, different geography. You're doing different things. You're working, you're watching a movie. It's amazing. Now, coming to the subject of finance, I think you have an opportunity to do artificial intelligence, or let me not even call artificial intelligence, let me call some intelligent work first. You have that opportunity from every function in a bank, or every function in a financial services company. I would believe it's true for just about more or less all industries put together. You look at HR, I think we should ask ourselves a question, why do we want to use artificial intelligence? Yes. Right? The purpose of using artificial intelligence is to make your processes better, faster, and meaner, right? So if you look at HR, our HR team spends humongous amount of time identifying skill sets for you. Our HR team spends humongous amount of time trying to even look at documentation, what you have got. Our HR team spends humongous amount of time trying to figure out whether this is the right person or not. Why? Because you want to do a background search. If you go to the finance team spends humongous amount of time trying to do reconciliation. If you're working for a bank and a treasury, we spend humongous amount of time doing nostril reconciliations. And the banks have still not got it right. If you're working in a rating team member as a bank, you spend humongous amount of time collating information and trying to get the right rating for an organization. If you're working in a legal department, you spend humongous amount of time just to put in an Excel sheet, when is the contract likely to end? Is the termination clause in the contract which is expected it to be? Do you have an SLA which is expected out of you? We spend huge amount of time there. Now, wherever we spend this time, it is likely to be killed by artificial intelligence or intelligent systems. And one example to take to try and summarize this, just imagine you go and write a small Python bot. And I'm saying just forget about these smart technologies that people think about. Just pick up your kid at home who understands how to write a Python bot. You know what he'll be able to write in 2 minutes? He will be able to collate all the contracts that you have. He will be able to marry it with the template that you have. He'll be able to come back and tell you that there is no termination clauses, there is no end of the date, and he will come back and tell you whether the stamp that you put in the contract, is it your company's stamp or is it a fraudulent stamp? And the signature of the person that you have authorized, is it the right person or the wrong person? And it takes only 10 minutes to do that. And we would spend months and months to get this right. So one of the large banks called us, and they said that, look, we believe you're doing some work around this. Can you help us to do efficient contract management around 20 of these use cases? Why? Because a financial services company seems to have maybe 20,000 contracts, 30,000 contracts, 50,000 contracts. And they are not able to imagine what is there in the contract which is going to come and hit them as a liability tomorrow. I have not even spoken about how do you read the contract and do artificial intelligence to get your contractual litigation and contractual ability right to come back and say, will something come and hit me back? So I'm saying there is simply no limit. This is nothing artificial. It is pure intelligent systems to start with. And you don't need some great solutions for this. You need somebody to be able to write a small bot for you. And your bot is able to do image recognition. Your bot is able to do facial recognition. Your bot is able to do neural network and figure out whether the same data resides at the same place. Very, very simple to do. So, but I go back. I think we need focus. Somebody who really wants to do that. It's a very, very cool and a very interesting job. I love it on a daily basis. Being a chartered accountant, I'm sure if somebody tries it here, they will love it on a daily basis. Thank you.
So, thanks, Anil sir. Again, I'm not cross-questioning anything because of the time constraint. MP sir, let me tell you one story that one of a chartered accountant, fresher chartered accountant, around 7-8 years back, he was there into my office for a job, and looking to his overall, experience in a small firm, we have hired him as a trainee, and we were actually paying him a stipend. Later on, he said, after 1 year, said that I will practice in my village. And he actually went to the village, and probably 1 month back, we met again. And I said that, तुम्हारा practice कैसा चल रहा है? He told me कि सर मैं करीब 35 लाख रुपीस मेरी practice से ले लेता हूँ. 25 लाख रुपया मेरा net बच जाता है. 2-4 लाख रुपया मेरा जो है I am able to spend on my family and all. And the entire money which I earn is basically again invested into the lot of investment opportunities. See, my humble submission over here is that how do those people who are practicing in towns like Amravati, Latur, Nanded, so how they can take this advantage of AI and technology, and I'm sure Anil Bhai can also support on this. So that's my question, in fact. Okay, and I'm sure that there are a lot of people who are from those regions, even including our Umesh Bhai from Aurangabad.
So, single line answer in 2 parts. One is attend this conference, listen to Anil.
Sir, आपके पास 5 minutes का time है.
And second, go through the daily videos which are circulated by Umesh. In fact, I knew Umesh as a GST knowledge disseminator, but the kind of work he's now doing on AI. In fact, it's basically his fundamental DNA of desire to share. I think that's what is driving him. So thank you, WRC, and thank you, Anil, for this invite, and happy to be here and share the panel with yourself and past presidents, sir. So as far as the technology is concerned, particularly for Tier 2, Tier 3, Tier 4 cities, I have 3, 4 very fundamental points. One is, we just heard Anil on AI and all, and AI, we have hardly scratched the bottom. We have hardly touched anything. In fact, people use the expression AI very, very casually, very casually. Simple search of information, simple analytics, they all tend to call it as AI. But AI is much more, and its capabilities are much, much more. I think understanding AI itself, I think we all need to sort of take a pledge that I want to understand what AI's capabilities are. There are 3, 4 things which I want to leave with you. One is, almost all of us here are beneficiaries of the internet revolution. So just think of the world before internet, after internet, and how the transformation has happened. Similar transformation on a 100x scale. Exactly similar transformation on a 100x scale is the potential of AI, and we are yet to witness what its capabilities are, particularly in a place like India. So there's still so much of work to do. That's point number 1. Second important thing to understand is technology, particularly something like AI, is a great equalizer. It's a great equalizer. So there is nothing like you have it, I don't have it. That question will not. You have this knowledge, I don't have this knowledge. He just talked about that Apple Pro, we have metaverse and augmented reality and all of those stuff, which many of us are yet to experience because the unit economics are yet to become affordable. Just like mobile is affordable, internet is affordable, this will also soon become affordable. So as far as this technology is concerned, particularly AI, it will actually completely eliminate the difference between uske paas hai, mere paas nahi hai. That question will not arise at all. Whether you are in a Tier 2 town, Tier 3, Tier 4 town, and all of us, irrespective of which city we are from, we write the same examination, we pass the same examination. When we qualify, we come exactly with the same level of knowledge, whether it is audit, taxation, or whether it is financial reporting, whatever be the topic. So after having qualified and been in practice 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, whatever, the opportunities are exactly the same for all of us. And with technology, distances become irrelevant. Whether somebody says I am in Mumbai, Navi Mumbai, he is not able to join this meeting here, but somebody from Latur would have traveled and would be present here. Somebody from Goa would have traveled and present here. So similarly, when you deliver work, for a Navi Mumbai person to come and do some work here, or somebody from Latur to do a work for a client here, it just doesn't matter. And in consulting practice, I have seen, and probably Umesh should have seen in the context of his GST practice, if somebody knows Umesh has this GST knowledge, sitting in a town like Aurangabad, which place? Aurangabad. Whether you're in Bombay or in Jaipur or Delhi, I will reach out to him, 1 hour video call. It doesn't matter to me where he is. I'm talking about a very simple use case of technology. And just imagine what AI can do about it. And the beauty of Tier 2, Tier 3, Tier 4 cities, you have to just look at what has happened in the last 20, 30 years for IT industry. If you look at IT industry, what work used to be done in US is now done in India. And if you look at all of the GCCs now, they've all come here, and core technology work is being done here. Earlier, GCC here used to be bottom technology, but now core technology work is being done in GCC here. So just like US versus India, it is Mumbai versus Latur, Amravati, Nagpur, Aurangabad, whatever be the town. It's exactly the same, So all of this will move into those locations. One is cost of doing work. better work-life balance, ability to do work 24/7, and I can share with you from my little personal experience of the 2 rounds of election campaigning I did. I've traveled across all the 6 cities, all 6 states, every single town, every small office I visited, because I wanted to understand the profession. And I can tell you the second generation of practitioners, third generation of practitioners, all of them sitting in their hometowns have started catering to clients who are located in the larger cities. I have witnessed it between the 2 terms which I've seen. I'm sure now it is much more. So I strongly believe that technology, and more so something like AI, will open up tremendous opportunities for the people in the smaller cities, and it's for us to stay connected. Another point I want to share with you. If you look at all businesses, whether they are the tier 2, tier 3 cities or tier 1, all of them have embraced technology. So even if you go to a place like, let's say, Latur or even Aurangabad, any city, those cases, a restaurant, the technology tools he uses for his day-to-day operations is not substantially different from the technology tools a restaurant in BKC would use. They're more or less the same. So almost all the businesses have started using it. So our client profile are all digital. So given that kind of a profile which is there, the opportunities for tier 2, tier 3 cities will be much more than those in the tier 1 cities.
So friends, in nutshell, we can conclude that wherever you are, in fact, there are equal opportunities. Whether Anilji is sitting here in Mumbai or you are at Latur, you have equal opportunities through this AI and technology. Now, I'm taking a reverse round, where again a question is there to you, MPV. It sounds good, MPV. A lot of discussion is having on big size Bharatiya Chartered Accountancy firm can be created or not. Here, restricting my discussions only on technology and AI, how it can play an important role in making the firm size large and have their presence across the country and then globe.
Okay, so I'll just confine myself to technology with reference to how firms can scale. There are other factors which are there. I will not enter that domain.
True.
As far as technology is concerned, at this point in time, what is very important for firms if they want to become larger is the ability to invest, ability to take that risk and invest in technology. Technology doesn't come free. At this point in time, the obsolescence risk of technology is very, very high. And secondly, every 2-3 years, you'll find some alternate SaaS products which much better features, much better capabilities, which will keep coming in. So the ability to seamlessly move across those applications and use, all of those will become very critical. So as far as firms to scale in size is concerned, it's very important to understand that I can give a parallel like a corporate hospital. Just like a corporate hospital has to invest in all of those equipments and technology and infrastructure to render services. If you want to scale, it is a capital game. It's a capital game. Please do not be under the impression. I'm willing to be corrected. I'm willing to argue or discuss further on this. But if you want to scale using technology, the 5 partners, the 10 partners, the 20 partners who come together should understand that paise nikalna hai, dalna hai, if you want to remove money later. You have to put that money. It cannot be like the earlier practice where we 5 people came, took a small place, started practice, we'll do. That way, you'll never get the scale. You should decide that it's a 4 crore, it's a 5 crore, it's a 10 crore kind of investment. We'll put that kind of money in technology, create those differentiators in terms. I'll give a small example. Today, I was in a CIA meeting after I landed. Now that this Ind AS 117 has come, and insurance sector sometime soon will move into Ind AS, the actuarial valuation and the accounting for insurance will be far different from what it is now. So how many of the accounting firms in India will be able to invest in technology tools for auditing actuarial valuation? So that requires a few crores of money. So the ability to invest that is important. So my view, if you want to get that scale and compete, first in terms of technology, it is possible and it is the main driver, but it requires investment.
Yeah, yeah. So, friends, there is another cut of 15 minutes, so I am left with only 5 minutes. So I would like to ask Anil Bhandari ji that this through technology, even these days your client or some third party can be involved in some fraudulent activity, such as for KYC in a bank. There are all possibilities that through fake video, someone is doing KYC. Through some, fake manipulations and through AI and technology, someone can report higher turnover, higher profitability. So as a chartered accountant, maybe as a consultant, as an auditor, concurrent auditor, internal auditor, how do we actually take care in this cyberspace?
So, well, I think that is a subject that I'm very passionate about, so I'll keep talking for hours. I better not dabble into it, but I want to just try and maybe put two messages around to the question that you've raised. I think privacy is likely to become super important in the next 10 years. So if anybody wants to look at new avenues to do something, pick up privacy as one of the subjects. And this is likely to change 100x. If you go to European Union, you go to US, people are very, everybody's talking about this. As we speak about AI, the contextual models that get generated, basis what you speak, basis what you... Have you noticed that there is a meta AI which is injected into WhatsApp recently? Yes. Is that dangerous or it's useful? Both. Useful because you may want to ask questions, but WhatsApp is something that I'm already chatting. I know what I want to do there. I don't go to WhatsApp for questions. I may go to ChatGPT for questions. But WhatsApp is a private space which I'm using to try and communicate with my friends. It is actually understanding contextually what you're typing there. So anyway, privacy is likely to become super important. And if you now connect this, you will realize that there are two models which are evolving in the world for maybe you want to call it cybersecurity, maybe you want to call it to prevent frauds or etc. What you would need to understand is identity-centric security and data-centric security. That is what is emerging in the next 3 years. Identity-centric and data-centric. Why is identity-centric? Every business that happens today, identities are driving businesses. You look at telecom, you look at banks, you look at insurance. Everywhere you look at, you have new age companies coming up, Zerodha. What is driving those businesses? Identities. You are driving those businesses. All of us are driving those businesses. So it's consumer identities which are actually driving businesses. So identities has a mind of its own. Identity has a context of its own. And if you look at as an employee, when you go to work in an organization, again, identities drive the organization. It has a context of its own. Now, when you look at data generated by all of us, the data is generated in a different context, in a different meaning for different clients, or where you're working differently, or what you want to do differently. So every time that you generate data, the context of the data changes. What would that mean? In the next 10 years, it will be contextual data security, right? So merging these two fundamentals, a lot of companies in this country and outside are trying to understand using adaptive technologies, AI technologies, contextualizing it, identity-centric, trying to figure out where does a fraud come in, when does a fraud come in, at what part of the process can it be injected. So I thought that transaction data is very important. I thought suddenly what hit me was one of the governance risk and compliance ladies stood up and said, you know what is very important in our bank? The most important data in our bank is the rating data that we have. Which is that? The rating data. Why? Because basis that rating data, I have decided to disburse hundreds and thousands of crores, billions and billions of dollars, correct? So I said, okay, how do you protect it? So we said, oh, we don't know. We have just isolated those people. So I've identified 20 people doing that work and I've isolated it. So I think, again, it's a subject we can talk for hours. I'm only saying take home the fundamentals of that subject. which is identity-centric, data-centric, which means do you have the ability to consume data and understand data and put it on an AI/ML model to come back and put data in the right buckets. So what we have done as a case study, to wrap this up, we work with the security part of it. So we have created tools and technologies to take the full dump of what you have on whether your machines or whether servers or whether you have it in 365, whether you have your data in Google, everything. Just pull all of that out and put it in a huge storage box and run an AI/ML algorithm on that. Earlier, storages used to be very expensive. Today, the storage dabba is not very expensive. So you're able to do that very easily. Pull that out, construct the context, and start classifying the data automatically. Just classifying the data is a huge task. Now, I'm able to go back and answer, and believe me, today, when you go back to any of your clients and ask them a simple question, who has the most important data in your organization, you will never get an answer. You will never get an answer. Your auditors, next time when you go to a bank, if your central bank auditors here, next time you go to any bank, just ask them a very simple question. Go to the CIO, you want to pull a fast one, go to the CIO and the CISO and ask him, boss, please bring back a report to me which says that these are the 500 people in your organization who have the most important data. Because you spent $500 million in security. Please come back and tell me how many was able to do that. I'm telling you, nobody will be able to do that, right? Simple task of understanding in your company who's got the most important data. So this transcends the borders of technology. This transcends into mathematics. This transcends into deep learning, our ability to contextualize it, and then our ability to bring it in front. Again, this is something that you can't achieve overnight. But again, I go back to what I started. If you have a focus and an interest in doing something like this, then you need to really spend time, energy, get like-minded people, and start doing something like this, because 90% of the revenues of the Big Four is actually coming out from all of these services and not statutory audit services any longer.
True, sir, true. So basically, friends, robots are informing me that your time is over. So I'm here just putting one fact. I'm not going for any more questions, but putting one fact to all the audience is that this